So recently I made a top 10 quality weapons list, and one of the weapons that really stuck out to me was the Dragon Halberd. I've always been a fan of quality builds, and the Dragon Halberd is an absolutely phenomenal weapon when it comes to quality weapons. So we are going to be making a build today that is going to utilize that weapon, do a ton of lightning and frost damage, and overall it's going to be a lot of fun to play, so let's go ahead and jump right into the build. Now the first thing I want to say before we get into this build video is the fact that everything you're seeing here has been recorded on New Game Plus 5. I'm level 170, and everything that you can get in this video is going to be attainable on one playthrough of the game. So this is not necessarily a New Game Plus build, even though that I am playing in New Game Plus. So the first thing we're going to be looking at here with this build is going to be the Dragon Halberd itself. This is a absolutely phenomenal quality weapon and is a perfect quality weapon considering it has both C attributes in strength and dexterity. This is a great weapon to use for any playthrough because you can get it very early in the Shifra River after you kill the Dragonkin soldier right here on the map. This weapon is going to appear as just your run-of-the-mill halberd. However, the spinning slash Ash of War is going to activate a buff that is called Ice Lightning. This is going to not only imbue your weapon with lightning damage, but also frost damage at the same time. It is incredibly powerful, and the first wave of that spinning slash Ash of War will activate the buff, and then the second wave is going to bring in a massive horizontal slash down, doing a crazy amount of damage to most enemies and bosses. This weapon is one of the lightest halberds, if not the lightest halberd in the entire game, and what's really awesome about it is that you don't have to replace it ever throughout your entire playthrough. This weapon can carry you from the start of the game all the way through until the Elden Beast, and you will still be putting out a lot of physical damage. The only downside I think of this weapon though is the fact that it is very short. It is one of the shortest halberds in the game, and you can see sometimes as I'm going to hit enemies and bosses in Elden Ring that I just come up a little bit too short and I need to close the gap a little bit more. But other than that very small thing to take note of, the Dragon Halberd is definitely going to be a weapon that can carry you through the game. At plus 9, I have a physical damage of 311 plus 376, and when it comes to attributes required, you're only going to need 22 strength and 10 dexterity, so if you want to two-hand it, you can two-hand it well at 16 strength. This makes it an optimal weapon for the start of the game, and I highly recommend that you snag it. Now for our talismans of the build, we do want to stack out the damage of the Ash of War as much as possible, so we are going to be using the Shard of Alexander, which is going to give us a 15% increase to our skills, so we're going to be using Spinning Slash to hit just that much harder. In talisman slot number 2, I'm using the Ritual Shield talisman, and this is just going to help raise my defense when my HP is at maximum. This talisman is going to reduce your damage taken by 30% when your HP is at maximum, so for that very first hit, you are going to take so much less damage than if you didn't have this equipped. And for our third talisman, we are going to use Millicent's Prosthesis. We are going to have boosted dexterity by 5, and considering this is a dexterity strength build, it's going to be nice to have a little bit extra dex because we're going to be able to do more damage. This talisman is also going to raise your attack power with successive attacks, and it's going to give us a plus 11% attack power boost after all is said and done. And lastly, because we have a lightning Ash of War, we are going to be using the Lightning Scorpion Charm. This is going to raise your lightning attack by 12%, but it will also allow you to take 10% more damage, so just be careful when using it. All of these talismans synergize very well, allowing our spinning slash Ash of War and our lightning damage to be very high, as well as getting those successive attacks off to otherwise proc our attack power even higher. Now, if you want to find any of these talismans for yourself, the Shard of Alexander is going to be a quest reward given to you at the end of Alexander's questline. I will leave that video down in the description below so you guys can go check that out. The Ritual Shield talisman is going to be found right in the front of a Colosseum located right here on the map. Millicent's Prosthesis is also going to be a quest reward given to you at the end of Millicent's questline, and the video for that will also be down in the description. And lastly, the Lightning Scorpion Charm is going to be found in the Wyndham Catacombs right here on the map, but it will require you to use a Stone Sword key, so just have one available. And real quick guys, if you are enjoying the content that you're seeing here and you're getting some value out of the video, feel free to subscribe and hit that bell notification. It helps me out a ton and it is free, and you'd be super awesome for doing so. So with that being said, let's hop right back into the video. Now as far as your Flask of Wondrous Physic goes, we are going to be using 2 tiers that are definitely needed for this build. The first of which is going to be the Lightning Shrouding Crack tier, which is going to boost your lightning attack by 20%, so this is definitely awesome when combined with that spinning slash Ash of War. And then this build is also incredibly stamina hungry, so using the Green Burst Crystal tier to get that extra stamina recovery speed of 17.7% is definitely going to be needed. Spinning Slash takes up a ton of stamina when using it, and if you didn't want to use the Ritual Shield talisman, I would highly recommend using one of the stamina talisman in order to negate that problem. As you get farther and farther into New Game Plus, and if you're using this weapon, I definitely recommend putting more into endurance than you typically would, as you are going to need the extra stamina. Now, the Lightning Shroud and Cracked here can be located in northeast Liurny of the Lakes, right by the Erd Tree, after you defeat the Erd Tree avatar that's patrolling there. And as far as the Greenburst Crystal tier goes, that is also going to be dropped by an Erd Tree avatar found at the Minor Erd Tree in Caelid, east of the Smoldering Church, right here on the map. Now, as far as your armor goes, you just want something to be over the 51 poise mark. You don't want to get knocked out of Spinning Slash, because you want to get the entire Spinning Slash Ash of War off to do the most damage. So it doesn't matter what armor you decide to use, as long as you cross that 51 poise threshold. So before we get into the stats, we are going to be using 2 buffs for this build. As I said, this is a level 170 build, so you might not have the faith to do this, but you should at least invest enough stats into getting Flame Grant Me Strength to give you some extra physical damage. We are going to be using Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength in order to get that 15% damage negation and 35% increased physical damage, because that's going to help you hit a ton harder. You can do this without Golden Vow, as I said, and you'll still get a decent amount of physical damage, but as you get into New Game Plus, I highly recommend getting at least 25 faith in order to activate both of those. And lastly, we have the stats of the build. We are going to be running a level 170 build. I have Vigor at 60, Mind at 19, Endurance at 25, Strength at 52, Dexterity at 56, Intelligence at 9, Faith at 25 for the buffs, and Arcane is at 8. If you are at 150, I recommend using the Vigor cap of 50, and then you'll probably have a little bit less in Faith, so you'll be right there at that 150 cap. So guys, there is our Dragon Halberd quality build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to do a few quality builds here on the channel because I really enjoy playing a quality build. It's a lot of fun, and it does a really good amount of damage. So if you've not subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe on your way out. We finally got a DLC trailer, so I'm super excited about that. More videos to come on that, and until next time, guys, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.